So let's look at an example. Over here you have 500 rupees at year 2. So this is the future value. You need that after, you know that after 2 years you require 500 rupees. So the question is, how much should you deposit today? Present value always means today times 0. So 500, 2 years later, how much should you deposit today if you know that you can earn 10% interest? You can use the present value formula to find that out. The future value is 500, 10% is the interest rate, and you know you have to bring the value 2 years. You're taking it back 1 and 2. So right now you will have to deposit 413.22. This is the present value of 500 discounted at the 10% rate. So if you want 500 2 years later and you know you will get a 10% interest rate, you will have to deposit 413.22 right now in a bank account. Similarly, moving on to the next slide, you need to calculate the future value of 500 6 years from now at the 10% interest rate. Now, because you deposit the 500 at the start of year 1, this is the start of year 1 and this is the end of year 1. Because you deposit 500 at the start of year 1, you will get interest the first year. Then you will get interest from the start of second year till the end of second year. Then from the start of year 3 till the end of year 3, and so on in year 4, 5 and 6. So you will get interest for 6 years in total. You can calculate the future value formula. PV over here is 500, 10% is the interest rate, and N will be 6. So if you deposit 500 right now, it will get interest 6 times and your future value will become 885.78. Similarly, in the other question, on the other part, you still have 500, but instead of depositing the amount at time 0, you are now depositing it at time 2, and you're bringing it forward for the next 4 years over here. How is it 4 years? Because right now you don't have anything in your bank account. At the start of year 1 you have nothing, neither do you have at the end of year 1. So if there is nothing in your bank account, you can't get interest on it. Similarly, at the end of year 1 you have nothing, so you will get no interest on it. At the end of year 2 you have deposited 500. Now you will get interest. So you will get interest from the start of year 3 till the end of year 3. From the start of year 4 till the end of year 4. From the start of year 5 till the end of year 5. And from the start of year 6 till the end of year 6. That means you will get interest for 4 years. 1, 2, 3 and 4. So everything will be the same, but N will now be 4, and the answer now is 732.05. Note over here that the cash flow is coming only once in both cases. This was the case of single cash flow. Now moving ahead, we are coming to equal cash flows. The first type of equal cash flow is your annuity. Okay, in order for it to be an annuity, I'm going to skip this, and first we will look at the definition of annuity. An annuity is a series of equal periodic cash flows, and it must have a defined time limit. So there are 3 characteristics of annuity. Number 1, the cash flows have to be equal. Number 2, they have to be periodic, which means that either they will be every month or every year or every quarter. So it has to be repetitive on with the same time gap. या तो हर महीने के बाद पेमेंट आ रही होगी, या हर 3 महीने के बाद, या हर साल के बाद. And third is that it must have a defined time limit. So you should know when the payment will end. If you do not know when the annuity stream, the cash flow is going to end, then it is not an annuity question. You cannot use the annuity formula then. Now going back to the example, over here you can see that 500 is coming at the end of year 1, at the end of year 2, at the end of year 3, and at the end of year 4. The cash flows are equal, they are identical. It is 500 every year. The gap is also the same. After every year, after every end of the year, you are depositing 500. And you want to know if the interest rate is 10%, what will be the future value of this cash flow. So now the 500, the deposited amount, is not coming once, it is a recurring amount, it is an equal recurring amount, and you know that it will end at year 4. So you can use the annuity formula over here. The PMT stands for payment, R is the interest rate, and N is the number of years. So 500 is the payment, 10% is the interest rate, so that is 0.1, and N will be 4 over here. Now why is the N 4? An easy way to figure out what the N is to always look at the payments. If there are 4 payments, the N will be 4 over here. How many equal installments are there? Just look at that. So 2320.5 is the future amount that will be accumulated. Similarly, a question might have the same cash flows, but instead of calculating the future value, you might have to calculate the present value. So if you have identified, yes, that it is an annuity, you can use the annuity formula. Again, the PMT is 500. The N is now but minus 4 over here because the formula has a negative in it. So over here the answer is coming 1584.93. So the present value of this cash flow is 1584.93. Note over here that you can actually solve this formula using the basic formula as well. It is possible to solve it using this formula and your answer should come same. Annuity is just a specific formula that can be used only if you identify the cash flow to have these 3 particular features that we discussed in the beginning. In every other case, you can always use this formula. You can use this formula for equal, single, unequal, every type of cash flow. Annuity formula is just a shorter way of doing calculation. You will get the same answer from both the formulas. Okay, so ordinary. Now there are 2 types of annuity. One is ordinary annuity, and these are the formulas for it. Ordinary annuity, the payment comes at the end of the year. So if we make a timeline, end of the year means that the payment will start from year 1. If 1000 is being deposited for the next 3 years, the first payment will come over here at the end of year 1, at the end of year 2, and at the end of year 3. So ordinary annuity means end of the year payments, whereas annuity due means beginning of the year payment. The formula is almost same. You just have to multiply both the formulas by 1 plus R and you will get the answer for annuity due. In the case of annuity due, your cash flow shifts. So if the question says beginning of the year, 1000 is being deposited for the next 3 years at the beginning of the year, that would mean the first 1000 will come over here at the start of year 1, then at the start of year 2, and then at the start of year 3. So your cash flow shifts this way. Because of that, each and every cash flow gets 1 interest period extra. That's why you multiply both of them by 1 plus R by 1 plus R. Then the other type of equal cash flow is perpetuity. Perpetuity is very similar to an annuity. It means it has 2 out of 3 of the characteristics. Okay, why is this not going ahead? So in a perpetuity, the cash flow is still equal. Number 1, it will still be equal. Number 2, it still has to be periodic. The difference is in the third characteristic. Perpetuity is for an infinite cash flow. So annuity is equal, it is periodic, but it is for a finite cash flow. It means you know when the payment for annuity is going to end, but you do not know when the payment for a perpetuity is going to end. The formula for perpetuity is also very simple. In order to calculate the present value, the formula is PMT divided by R. Let's look at an example for perpetuity. Okay, I don't have an example over here. So let's just resume. If the payment, you can see that the payment is 100. And if I tell you that the interest rate is 10%, you can simply divide it by the interest rate. Your answer will come 1000. So the present value of this perpetuity will be 1000 in that case.